Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited. So earlier this week, we did hear of the, I guess you can almost say mass releases, 10 people released from AEW. With that on the media call yesterday, Tony Khan was asked about some of these releases and did state that the boys, the Tate twins, had been released because, well, they didn't show up to work. Once the boys actually heard that, they took to social media and was like, what did you say? Excuse me? Basically. And then today, laid it all out there on exactly what went down on their end and why they didn't show up and why, well, maybe they shouldn't have been fired over it. Now, this is a long one, so buckle down as the boys stated the following. We had planned to stay quiet publicly about our release to take nothing away from the biggest show of the year for ROH in Supercard tonight, out of respect for the locker room that will be on it. Due to Tony's comments and the numerous fans, media outlets, friends, and coworkers that have reached out to us, that isn't an option for us anymore. We apologize to the Ring of Honor fans and to the AEW fans that were invested in the storyline, and we're expecting the both of us to be there. With so many fans wanting answers, in addition to numerous people that have voiced their comments at the thought of us just really no-showing on some of the biggest opportunities of our lives due to Tony Khan's statements, here it is. My brother and I were told that we would be included in this story through Supercard, and there were plans for us to be with John and Taya leading up to the show. We were asked to pitch several ideas for ourselves, insinuating we would get the opportunity to show that we could wrestle more in the future. On March 16th, our scheduled date following Dalton losing custody, for the first time in our history of flying in North America, previously with Sinclair ROH and now Tony Khan's ROH, our travel was booked out of Nashville instead of our home airport, Knoxville. The screenshots of this interaction with management and travel, including the times, are in the comments. On Monday, April 1st, we were contacted by management, accompanied by HR, on a call to inform us of our release due to, quote, budget cuts. At the time, we raised concerns and repeatedly questioned if the reason was due to the travel issues. We were reportedly and adamantly assured that was not the case and based solely on budget cuts. Since Tony's statement, we reached out yesterday, providing the specific details, asking for Tony to clear this up. We have gotten no response. Unfortunately, in the court of public opinion, for a lot of people commenting, it's assumed that we're guilty from one man's words until we now have to prove we're not. We're now focused to release this info, along with the screenshot proof, to keep people from putting us down on social media or on this evening's show. We understand that putting this out is detrimental to our careers, but our back is against the wall on this, and it was either this or let Tony go on saying we no-showed. We want to thank each and every fan who has reached out and made your voices heard, as well as the locker room members who have reached out that know the truth as well. We hope you all still enjoy the show this evening for the sake of the wrestlers, putting on their best, and appreciate how much we've seen that people really care about two boys who are always considered replaceable. So then we go into the text messages on exactly what happened, and they read as followed. Hey, this is Brandon and Brent Tate. We were wondering if we were booked on Collision/ROH this weekend because we haven't gotten our flight info yet. Thanks, Tate Twins. I'll ask. Okay, thank you, Tate Twins. Hey, we just received emails about driving to Nashville for flights, and we've never flown out of there before because it's 3 hours away. We have an airport 15 minutes from us. Even the old Ring of Honor never had us fly out of Nashville. Reach out to your travel person and ask them why that's happening. Okay, we just did. Thank you, Tate Twins. Those first text messages were sent on Tuesday, March 12th, and then on Saturday, March 16th, they continued stating, hey, we are getting texts from people asking if we're at the venue. We told travel as soon as you told us to fix our flights, and she said she would send us new flights. We stayed up until midnight Thursday and still haven't received anything. Brandon and I both have had our bags packed since Wednesday. Okay, guys, I just got off the phone with travel. My understanding is that because Ottawa is a difficult airport to get in and out of, they tried to save $800 per ticket by having you go out of Nashville. I see your point about being asked to drive 3 hours to a different airport. But did anyone specifically tell you that you were getting new flights? And when you didn't have new flights, did you contact anyone to see what the situation was? She said she would send us flight options shortly. I didn't hear from her, so I texted from my phone about seats and didn't get a text back. I also emailed her on Sunday or Monday about hotels and seats for the flight and didn't get an email back. Never heard back if we were booked and figured since nobody got back to us from travel that we weren't booked again this weekend also. That's why we just asked if we were booked until Supercard weekend just to avoid all of this. Nashville wouldn't have been an issue for that one day, but the NCAA basketball tournament and St. Pat's Day weekend being in Nashville last minute would have been an issue already. That's why we always reach out the Sunday/Monday before shows. They then show an email sent here on March 8th asking about, hotels in Canada and so forth. The text thread continues. Our cars aren't in good shape also. That's why we request rentals. I'm not sure why travel changed our airports week of without notice. We have flown to Canada numerous times from Knoxville, and this has never been the case. You had flights going from Nashville, so you were booked. If you had gotten a rental, you could have sent in the receipt and gotten reimbursed. The flights from Knoxville were 2-stop and more expensive, which is why they tried Nashville for this trip. You guys should have at least let someone know you weren't going to get on the Nashville flights, so they could have canceled them in time. We did tell blank that we couldn't do that flight. That's why she responded and told us she would send us our flight options, and that's what we were waiting for. We also had been told numerous times to get approved for rentals because they got onto us about getting rentals without asking. Is anyone spoke to about our travel conversation this week? We're all going to have a discussion the next time you're at TV. That will be good. Are we expected to be in Canada next week? Hold on, I'm exploring this now. Hey, just check to see if you heard anything about us being at the show this weekend, Tate Twins. There's no collision taping this weekend. You'll probably be booked for London, Ontario on 3/30. Okay, thanks. That all was then from a couple days later, March 18th. We then go a week later, March 25th, where the text thread continues. Hey, just checking to see if we're booked this weekend, so there's no confusion on our end, and so we can plan our week accordingly. Thank you, Tate Twins. As of now, no. Okay, we'll be on lookout. Thank you for always getting back to us. And that's where the text thread ends. There on March 25th, they were told that they were not going to be used at last week's tapings, and yeah. They then got word on Monday, April 1st, that they had been released from the company due to, quote, budget cuts. Yet Tony is telling the media a completely different story than they are being told by HR. So it is very interesting, as there was some confusion with the flights, and then they didn't go to a show because they were told wait on different flights and maybe we have different options. So they were just waiting, not doing what they thought they should do because they've been told in the past, don't just go rent a rental car and think you're going to get reimbursed. No, they wanted to get it approved first, because in the past they've been told, get it approved first. So this is very interesting that they would be told one thing as far as why they were being cut. Then Tony Khan would go publicly and state another thing. And now they got to clear up their name because now it's making them sound like, oh, they just don't want to show up for work. So what, that if we do hear anything further on the real reason on why the boys were released from AEW, and if it was because of budget cuts or because of this mishap with flight travel, we'll have it for you right here. Wrestling Unlimited.